starting early. Thank you. I'm sitting right here. Oh. Sure. Thank you. Sure. Morning. Special morning. We're going into the week. So in last week's Pasha and the week before, it's all about putting on film. And also in the following Pasha, so there was a stunning discovery that was made a couple of weeks ago. I don't have WhatsApp, so I can't. Maybe I'll give it to Shmuli, and Shmuli will. There's some shul WhatsApp, right? There's so maybe we'll be Masada, so you could see the Nayas and Chabad. There's a
I was only discovered now
about the Rebbe's film. You saw it?
I know. I just saw it now. I was only discovered now.
Let me tell you the story. So and I'll say Blinet will send out this information so you can see the video of it. There's a Yida Talmud Chochem that putting out Svarim in Yerushalayim at Havla, and they put out a set called the Shulchan Menachem, the Rebbe's things on the Dalat Chalki Shulchan Aruch. It was printed a few years ago, and he's now putting together a sefer Halachas and Minhagim and the Rebbe's Minhagim. So he asked a Sofer, Rabbi Klein, should maybe go to the Rebbe's library and ask them for permission to look at the Rebbe's film to see about the kesher. So they gave him permission to look at the Rebbe's kesher. Apparently, there's some story. There's a Yid that just passed away, Lubavitcher Chosid in Tel Aviv, Rav Butman. You know Rabbi Butman, his older brother.
What for the radio?
Yeah. Rabbi Butman's brother, Reb Shalom Ber. And he said that the Rebbe, what happened was when his mother managed to escape with all the Lubavitch Hasidim, managed to escape from Soviet Russia. One of the main stations where they came to Paris. There were DP camps, but by the time was this time at 1947, most of them ended up in Paris. From Paris, the Frierdiker Rebbe told every chassid where to go. Sent some Hasidim, he sent straight on shlichus. To Morocco, he sent some Chassidim to Australia. Frierdiker Rebbe. The Rebbe heard that his mother was out, so he took a plane right away. It's 1947. Must have not been a cheap flight. He took a plane. He flew straight over to bring his mother to America. Seems that the Frierdiker Rebbe was really thrilled with. There was nothing he did without asking his father-in-law. Seems that the Frierdiker Rebbe was really excited about this. Just a silly thing. The Rebbe used to walk around dressed like, with a gray hat, dressed modern. The Lubavitcher Chassidim came out of Russia. This is given, it was red hot. These guys were red hot, these guys. So, Frierdiker Rebbe, and the Frierdiker Rebbe told the Rebbe that he has to verbring whatever the Frierdiker Rebbe told him. Didn't matter what, it was to jump into fire, into water. The Frierdiker Rebbe said he has to do something. He did it. And apparently he told him to spend a few weeks there. And so Lubavitcher Chassidim came out of Russia, and they all got connected to the Rebbe in a very strong way. They saw right away through this, the facade. And the Rebbe spent a lot of time with them, covering with them, even with the children. And Pasha became very close to every one of them. Very, very, very close to every one of them. There's like a lot of pictures. I have both my uncles are in a picture with the Rebbe sitting and like at a table, like a fabringing, and even the children are there. You could see there's an unbelievable Kira Badas. And the Yid Lachem just went through so much years of Tsar V'Yisurim, and it was like a certain unbelievable Achdus, and the Rebbe got very close to them. A few years later, they knew to look through the gray hat and the fancy suit. I mean, they knew who this was. Anyway, at that time, says Rabbi Gutman that his father saw the Rebbe's tefillin. He wasn't the Rebbe; he was the Rebbe's son-in-law. And he told him, "You made a mistake with your kesher. Your kesher and your sharosh is done wrong, not the way Lubavitch said them do it." Oh. So the Rebbe said, "Please don't touch my tefillin, because my tefillin, my father-in-law himself made the kesher." And then apparently someone asked the Zirkin family. Rabbi Zirkin was a choshev a sofer. And you see in the Igros Moshe, the Rebbe told him, "I'll send you my sofer for the Rebbe Tam film."
And the Rebbe's tefillin is different than the Friedrich Rebbe's?
We don't. I don't know. I don't know. You're asking too many questions before we got to the end of the. So the Rebbe told him apparently that whenever he checked, the Rebbe used to have him check his film, that he should not undo the kesher. The kesher should stay. So to put the shorosh, the kesher shorosh should stay. That's what they're saying. I don't know the story. I'm just telling you. I'll send out the. So he went to the library and he looked at the film. Chas v'shalom, he wouldn't dare to start touching that film, but he took a lot of pictures and he sent it to Yerushalayim to a couple of sofrim who sat together. And they're hashora. I mean, if you take enough pictures of every angle, how to put together the kesher. That's different taka than the Lubavitch said are doing it today. So he gave us a tutorial. He took a video. He made a tutorial to show you how to do it the way the Rebbe's film was made. And Moshe Klein, who's a Sefer Stam, his business is on the corner of Kingston Avenue and Union. Anyone that wants, free of charge, you can come into his office. And Bahadras Kodesh, he'll undo your kesher and do it and make the kesher if you want to have it the way the Rebbe's kesher. Someone called me and asked me, sent me right away, sent it and asked, what do I think? Is it chuyv to change? Is it mutter to change? Is it a minig? Well, like, what's the din? Are you allowed to change? He doesn't want. He doesn't care. As long as it's mutter to change, he wants to change. So the truth is, like you said, I don't know. How is the Friedrich Rebbe's film look? The Rebbe wore 4 pairs of film. Why didn't they look at the other pairs? How did they have the kesher of the Rabbeinu Tam, Shemusharav, and the Ravid? Why don't they look at those? I don't know.
The Baal Tanya describes the kesher.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't. Something, as we'll soon read. No, he had 4 pairs of film. Rashi, Rabbeinu Tam, Shemusharav, and Ravid. It's 4 shittas and how to set up the parshas.
So you were all 4.
And the Rebbe used to wear all 4 because his father-in-law told him. But
wait, so the other 2 he put private?
It's sitting somewhere.
No, I'm saying when he davened at 10 o'clock in the morning.
No, he did it in his office quietly.
And say what? What do you see?
Does it look in the Yom Yom? It was 2 weeks ago. It tells you exactly. If you wear 4 pairs of tefillin, it tells you exactly what to do.
You'll know what.
It's a very detailed thing about what you're supposed to do in every pair of tefillin. When I say the Mishnah is there's a whole.
There's a
No, the bracha make only once. But I'm saying. One, I don't understand the Dova Posher. Why don't they look at the other 3 pairs? Maybe there's a Friedrich Rebbe's film is sitting there. Maybe. Probably it should sit there. Where would it be sitting? So I don't know. Bottom line is, it's a little bit of excitement to Chabad that they found that the Rebbe's film, like someone up here tells me, there's 2 daily Yisrael, they're always finding new Chiddush Torah, always finding new Kisviyat from Rabbi Akiva Eigen, always finding from the Rebbe, Pesanu Ksav Yadir, Nu Ksav Yadir. So, but this is a question. So, Mela, I did a little bit of a search on the issue, and I mean, Kamuvin, there's no one talking about this specific shaila, but apparently there is a shaila that's been every now and again it boils up on the surface, which is that there is several minhagim how to make the kesher on the Tulm Sharosh. One is that it looks like a dalet. Most of us are wearing that. There is a minig that it looks like a schlossman.
Like a what? Yeah.
Like a mem sofit. Like a mem sofit.
Square.
Square. A square. There is a minig of a square. Huh? Oh. What?
I'm aware of that.
You're aware of that. So there's a lot of Sfardim, not all Sfardim, a lot of Sfardim, but you have you have a box? Very good. Okay. So now you'll be on the hot seat for a few minutes. So no, it's not only Sfardim. There's a few. There is. It's not only. It's mostly Sfardim, but there are Ashkenazim that do it too. There is There's a strong minhag among Ashkenazim too. So, I mean, there's so much on it, and I picked one article out of.
It's really a novel.
Oh, some say it's really too down. It's a Zoya. It's a Zoya, really. But so let me. It's a Geschmack Inyan that it's all a part of Torah, and it's a very important thing. So let's try to go through it in 20 minutes, just a digest of a digest of a digest of it. Apparently,
the one that everyone has. This is the one that comment.
this. I wouldn't say common to us. It's common. This is what if you go into maybe a shul somewhere in Eretz Yisrael, where most of them are mispalim asfardim, and the few Ashkenazim also have the minhag to have a square, and you'll be the only guy with the dollar.
Nobody check when you put tfilin what kind.
No, you can see. You can see.
Busy, kavanos.
I know. The people wear towels over it.
They had to see it all together.
Exactly. Okay, good. But Toidahi. Why not? Let's look into it.
They didn't see the Rebbe's schedule?
No, now I'll tell you soon. This is alumnus. So I'm just going to go through B'cholos. I'm just telling you B'cholos the information that I'm giving you today. Obviously, I looked up every sugi, every rashi, every tosis, every rishon, the fnim, and some of it I brought here. But I'm just telling you B'cholos. I based this on the information I got from a long article from Rabbi Menachem Mendel Kasher. Rabbi Menachem Mendel Kasher was an unbelievable Talmid Chochem. Zagera Chosid. His son was a Supreme Court justice in Israel, right? Noam. Anyway, so he has an article. There was a sefer written, and at the end there was a big sign from the Bezdin Badat Zeda Feredis saying that encouraging everyone to change their kesher, and that the kesher, the box, is wrong. So it's got this guy's blood boiling. He was saying, no, it's not true. There is several minhagim, dark kehilas.
You mean the square? The square one?
Square. He said that according to this, there was a whole sefer basically saying that if you wear the square one, you never once in your life put on film properly.
I mean,
you made a brachel vatol and you never once wore film.
I'm saying the dollar makes sense. The same thing. But where's the mem come from?
Oh, so this is what I want to talk about.
$2.
But so
dollar, I understand that dollar.
So the dalet is shin dalet yud, and the box, which is a mem. So we have to figure out what's the reason for the mem. So, okay, let's look straight into here, because before we talk about how the dalet should look, we have to know who told us that there should be a dalet in the kesher. So let's read it quickly in the Gemara. The Gemara says, Shmuel, you got a copy? Zog the Gemara. In Shabbos, Daf Samach Beis, Amar Abaye, Shin shel tfilin loch l'mashiv asinah, Amar Abaye, Dalet shel tfilin loch l'mashiv asinah, Amar Abaye, Yud shel tfilin loch l'mashiv asinah. By the way, there's something very suspicious about the Gemara. 3 times Amar Abaye. Why didn't it say Amar Abaye, Shin shel tfilin loch l'mashiv, Shin shel tfilin, Dalet shel tfilin, Yud shel tfilin loch l'mashiv asinah? It's suspicious a little bit. Tosis right away says, Loigar sin and Dalet v'Yud shel tfilin kedemuchim epedek v'mem adlikim. Tosis says it's a mistake in the girsa. It comes down to really a machloikis. What's the kiris in the Gemara? Abaye says there's 3 things that are lachal. The shin that's in the bottom, the dalid in the back of your neck, and the yud. And Tosfos says erase the second and the third thing.
How come on the shorosh one side of a shin has that's 4, one has 3?
That's all part. It seems that it seems from the Lashon HaTorah that's part of the lachal.
The shin has one side is 4.
That's what it sounds like from the Lashon HaTorah. It's similar base. Yeah.
Just repeat, he wasn't here. Whoever
Okay.
got it.
I heard it.
Oh, you heard?
Okay. So the Ben Ish Chai, so I have to say something from the Ben Ish Chai, because we're mamish in basement Menachem, we're becoming so close. He has a great grandson that lives in the neighborhood, have children, and they started coming a little bit to basement Menachem, and they, Baruch Hashem, they started going to yeshiva, and now that they know the yichus for the Zayda, I told them that we in basement Menachem are always learning the Zayda's Torah, so they definitely have to become Talmidei Chacham, and Mitzvah Hashem they will.
It's a Zayda?
These children, their grandfather is
4 generations, 5 generations.
6 generations.
6.
And then there's a bas. Yeah. So this guy has his grandfather's Davis. His grandfather was Ben Ish Chai. and they had just had a child that they named for the Ben Ish Chai. So Dafna Zicher,
Except for him.
yeah, Rabbi Yosef Chaim, so he says, I'm just a nigla. He says a nice word. He says, why the Gemara separated? Tais is going to say, you see something suspicious. There's something's not good in this Gemara. But Ben Ish Chai says, because someone might say, because it's halacha l'moshe to have a shin, a dalad and a yud, and that's a shem Hashem. So how could you wear only the shirosha, only the shalyad? But really, Chazal tell us that it's two separate mitzvahs. But someone's going to say, taka the two separate mitzvahs, but because together they spell shin dalad yud, you can't wear one without the other.
Yeah, but the Shayad are two different mitzvahs.
Two separate mitzvahs. And what's if a person?
That is so, this is not located, if it's two separate.
So this is all part of a big discussion.
But
So that's all part of a big problem.
That's machloket.
Okay.
Two separate.
So he makes it worse. And now a person's going to say, you see, it's halacha l'moshe Messinai, that there has to be shin dalad yud, and therefore you can't have the shalosh without the shalyad.
Well, you have it just missing part of the mitzvah.
That's what the Ben Ish Chai is saying. That's what the Gemara separates it. Rabbi shin shel tfilin halacha l'moshe Messinai. Rabbi dalad. You shouldn't say that it's one halacha l'moshe Messinai, and that if you don't have the three, that you're not allowed to put on the tefillin. That's what he's saying. Okay. Let's continue. The Gemara says in Menachem, "V'ro kol amoris k'shem Hashem nikra alecha v'yorim mimeka." Tanya Rebbe Lazar Agadol Oimer. Elu tefillin sheberosh. V'serosh is kapi v'reises achoyrei Amar Chana bar Bizna Amar Pshun Chasidim Alamet Sheher LaKadosh Baruch Hu L'Moshe Kesher Shel Tefillin. The Eibush showed Moshe Rabbeinu the Kesher because he saw the achoyrei. He saw the back of the Eibush. He saw the Kesher Shel Tefillin. It's interesting because in one place it says that Malamed Shnisata Betalis Shliach Tzibur. So how could he see the Kesher Shel Tefillin if he was Misata Betalis?
It wasn't real.
It's something special to show him.
Right. No, I like that. I like that answer. No, because otherwise you'd say everything. Obviously, we don't know exactly what it means, but the Moshe was Mechuvet and Nimshel. Because the Gemara says Malamet Sheher Eloi Kesher Tefillin. That means that the Eibush could have put down the talis for a moment, showed him, and said, "Here, look at the Kesher Tefillin." Again, this is Nimshel. Right, understand? But still, it has to be proven. The Tosfos, it's not Chas v'Shalom Mashal. It's true. It's just what it means is we're using words to. So the Tosfos says, Pirish Kuntres Rashi says. What's the pshat? V'ro kol ametz k'shem Hashem nikra lecha v'yorim mimeka. What's the pshat that they see Hashem's name? Shekotzav aleh roiv Hashem shin v'dalet. That why is it the Eibishter's name on the tefillin? Because they don't see what's inside the tefillin. The goyim only see the outside. Because the shin is on the outside and the dalet is here. So roiv of the shem. That's what Rashi says. So that's a pshat that the goyim see the Eibishter's name and they tremble from the yid. So Tosfos argues on Rashi. Neither the dalet the yid but the two lab says Gemara same. Lo chshivim min Hashem shel shakei chosher lil v'reish perek vasak l'megillah tashmisha kedusha. The Gemara only calls tashmisha kedusha. V'lo yen atzma kedusha. The yud here. Yeah. The yud right behind the kesher. Shum duchte lo kar lakim kesher shel tefillin. And the Gemara always calls it kesher shel tefillin. Wait a minute. Perek v'mem adlikim. Lo yuchshiru melech hashamayim al arbehem etayr b'lavad. And the Gemara says, 1 second. Why are you telling me that there's a special halacha l'mashvin? The pasuk says. Mantia Torah says beficha minamuta beficha. Why do we need to have two limudim that it has to be malach that it has to be arbehem Torah? Why do we need two psukim for it? So two limudim for it. So the Gemara says and the oidis that also the oidis have to be from the behemoth Torah.
Besides what?
Besides the bottom, that the oidis have to be from behemoth Torah. One is for the bottom and one's for the oidis. The Gemara says the bottom for sure has to be behemoth Torah. Why? Because just like the Parshias have Hashem's name in it, so the bottom have the shin of Hashem's name in it, so the bottom also have to have. So the Gemara says that one pasuk is to tell us for the Parshias and the bottom, and the other one for the tzuas. Mashma the dalad v'yud loy choshev oisius. So it's very clear from the Gemara. Let's talk after how Rashi will answer it. Whatever, you can think of something. Okay. Bottom line is that that's a machlokes between Rashi and Tosfos, and it's on the Gis of the Gemara. Is it that basically, if you ask Tosfos, the Halacha L'Moshe Messina was only about the Dalit, not about the I'm sorry, about the Shin, not about the Dalit and the Yud. So, and according to Tosfos, that is part of the kesher shel tfilin. That's nothing to do with. That's not a special halacha l'moshe messina. It's just that's the way. That's our minig of how we do the kesher shel tfilin. It's a kesher. That's it.
Rabbis are Sparadim, it's where I learned. They do 3 strips here, 2 here, and then we go around.
Right.
the
That's
other one.
but that's for sure. No. Right. But that's a minig. That's for sure not halacha l'moshe messina. Machlokes is the shin. We add the dalad and the yud. Is that a chelik of mitzvahs tfilin, or that's, in other words, a chelik of like the pashas in the bottom, or it's a chelik of the kesher? Because it's not a din in the tfilin, it's a din in the kesher.
Yes, I always wondered what tefillin did they wear before Rashi's time.
That's a big discussion, and that's a good question.
But Rabbi Rambam says that
No,
the
grandson, right?
to show one person to another. It doesn't tell you how to
Right.
catch it.
Right.
But must be today, these people like
The Beis Yosef himself already describes it's difficult to read it, but he describes it. The Rambam says, "Machnas ritzu sharosh b'toiv shelo u'maki v'midas rosh v'kosher kesher kamin dalet." The kesher zet tzorich kol talmid chochem l'lomde. V'yev shelidia tzorosei b'ksav elo b'riyas ayin. You can't tell it b'ksav only when you see it with your eyes. V'chem b'kesher b'shel yad kosher kesher kamin yud. B'tia ritzu shel yad oile v'yired b'toich kesher kadei sheyarche v'yikatza b'esh yudze l'kasher al yodeh. The Meiser Ekech writes, when the Rambam Meiser Ekech says, Lafuki shelo ye'okul. When he says, Kesher meruba kimin dalad, it's a little bit of a steer when we say meruba kimin dalad. Meruba sounds like a box. Kimin dalad, so you explain, it doesn't mean really a box. It means like a dalad. But the Meiser Ekech says that the meruba means shelo ye'okul. That the din is, because a person might say, I need a kesher kayama. So I take the kesher, go 1, 2, boom, 3, boom. It's a kesher. Agabi Shabbos, Bichayev for kosher. I get 3 times like this, 2 times I did. Machayev. So that's why Lafuki shlo ya'ogol. Yes, in Basis kesher zadoilum nogalasa kemim mem stuma. Like a mem. Deineke ein zu der Schneidale da fuchs wir schon wir haben es gasdim shoysim dalad echad levado zu der dalad mamish dein Rabbi Yosef soif simchav zayin. So it seems like he thought that you could learn in the Rambam both ways. That the Rambam only meant to say that it should be meruba v'lo yogul, but how is the dalad? So you can make a dalad a single dalad or a double dalad. A mem is a double dalad. So a lot of people talk to learn that way, that a mem is a double dollar.
how is amendment double dollar? Upside down.
Yeah.
Dollar upside
Yeah.
down.
It's a mem is $2. That's the way a lot of people learn. Now, the bottom line is that with it, there is a lot of there are a lot of Rishonim that hold that bring this minig of a mem. And what's the Lamashal? There is the Beis Yosef brings the Sefer Baruch Shamar, who brings from the Rekeach, who's from the Rishonim, and he says that it's a mem. He says it's a mem. Why? Because it's Shem Hashem. Shin mem. Shin mem is Shem. Shem Hashem. Shin mem is Shem. Obviously, he's going with the shitta of Tosfos that you, but there are those that learn that that's a double dalad, and they bring the Zohar Pashas Pinchas. It's pretty clear in the Zohar Pashas Pinchas that it's a dalad kfula. That's the lashon, something like the lashon Zohar dalad kfula. So that's and another thing is the
Put against one like that. Maybe it could be in the same place.
right. They're right. That's totally in the Meforshim. Yeah, you're right. It's totally in the Meforshim. The Meforshim one. It's not for sure in that's the pshat in the And there's also there's huh?
Two shins on top.
Oh, so there's the Meforshim that say just like you have two shins on top, you have to have two dalids. There's a lot of Rishonim. There is Arugas Aboishim. Good kasha. And the Yeshami says, "V'rok la'amoritz k'shem Hashem nikra lecho, afilu dalad deruches, afilu sheidim." Goser Rebbe, which is the Rikeach, b'shem Sefer HaKoved, lishum and Hashedim Sefer HaKoved, and so we see that there is those that hold it's mamash dalad, and then he brings over here in the Sefer maybe the Sefer HaKoved, which is from the Yehuda Chosid, that says Kesher ba'oidev dalapom im nikri yisrael kshei oidev b'maisa egel sham pishin of Beseina v'disas achoyde shehere kesher shal trom malamedes yisrael dalad chosom ala oidev shalo yikshu orpom. So we see again over here that there's not everyone. There's a few Rishonim that holds that way.
And the word tfilin shevaroish sounds like the part of the roish, kind of the part of the oil. The word aim the tfilin shevaroish. It's so.
It's on your head.
It's on your head.
Let me ask you, wouldn't it seem from the pasuk Ro Kami Aretz? It would seem that we should be wearing tefillin all day long, even when you're outside.
That's the original.
The subway and
Yeah, that's for sure. That's the way Minhag Yisrael used to be.
I mean, today,
Why change?
because you're sitting with Amaratim in shul.
Right, exactly.
I had the dollar test first. When I learned the sugya, it said that the knot itself is $1, and then there is a rope which come out of the knots, one down and one to the
That's a nice
side.
shot.
That's the second dollar.
That's a nice shot.
Because the square doesn't really make any sense. Where do you see this double dollar here?
Right, I hear. It makes sense. There is a shit. There is a shit from the Rishonim, the Mariel, who says that the dalad is really from the Ritzuas. So you could say those that have the single dollar that still have, like you said, very nice shot. Now I'll tell you the crown jewel, cube shot. The Rogachover says like this. The Gemara says that originally is a machloik is how the Torah was given. Rabbi Yossi said that nitna Torah b'ksav ivri and b'mei ezer nishtana l'ksav ashuri, which was a different alphabet. They had a different alphabet.
Look at the old coins from the time of
It
the
looked very different. It's like sold Sav Ivri. It's like just like now we have a lot of them is like looks like so they had the Torah was written with Sav Ivri. And the other opinion says no, that the Torah was always written with Sav Ashuri. So the Rogachover says, wait a minute. According to the opinion that the Torah was given with Sav Ivri, so presumably the tfilin was written B'ksav Ivri, the Radva says that befedish. So presumably, when he saw the kesher of the Eibish's tefillin, like the Eibish that made the kesher, probably based on the oisias, the way it was in Ksav Ivri.
So it's a UK love game, I'm shocked.
So exactly. So no. The Rogachover says that you must say that the original kesher was ready B'ksav Ashuri, because Yidden made it. That Moshe Rabbeinu saw it. And just like you're saying with Yud Kevavke, it must have been that these things were ready then b'ksav Ashuri. So says it Menachem and Kasher. I'll tell you a pshat. Turn it on its head. He says that if you look at the chart, the Dalet in Ksav Ivri almost looks like a Mem Sofit, like a Schlossman.
No, the dollar is a triangle.
Oh, so. It's almost, yeah. So he says it could be, according to that opinion, so they say the opposite of the Rogachover. The Eibush that really put on tefillin and he made the kesher.
What did Rashi and Rabbeinu Tam?
That's, I don't know. Yeah, you got to ask Rabbeinu Tam. Then, so,
He had a lot of time.
so the Eibush that made the kesher, like Ksav Ivri. So therefore, it looked like a square. And that's what Moshe Rabbeinu saw. And came,
but it's not a square.
It looks like a
triangle.
I'm just telling you his shot.
Wait, so the dollar that we have today is not Ivri, is a
It's a shuri. We do a shuri. And therefore, Be'ezra, when he changed, not everyone changed the kesher of tefillin. That's why we ended up with the Menachem.
What it is. It's Syrian, yeah.
Okay.
Ashuri is like Rashi.
No, a shuri is like what we have today in the Sefer Torah.
This is step even.
No, the original Ksav Ivri looked different. So this is what we call Ksav Ashuri. Anyway, so that's his pshat. Okay, let's just read now from the Shulchan Aruch. Shulchan Aruch writes, Yachna said, so you found the chart. I was going to print out a chart this morning.
How does the
I was gonna.
You have a picture of the Rebbe?
I'm gonna send it out. No, it's a Dalit.
Have it in the front.
You only, yeah, exactly. You can see it on anash.org.
Some student have it in the front.
The Shulchan Aruch writes, Yachna said, so Lotechem Abarte v'Yasa Kesher Kamin Dalit b'Sharosh Kamin Yud v'Shal Yad Lahashlam Ois Shin Dalit Yud Imashin Sheb'Sharosh. V'Lo Yasa Kshonim Elal Achter Os Hashin B'Tfilin V'Achkach Yasa Adalit Achkach Hayud Kesei Ois Hashem. Which, by the way, if anyone that's changing should be aware of this, that l'chatchila you're supposed to make the bottom. Okay, that's you already made the bottom with the shin. Then you're supposed to tie up the dalit, and then you're supposed to afterwards tie up on the hand. So the people that are now changing it, yeah. You could read. See, there's a tutorial video.
Like a dalit kind square at the same time.
So
Triangle also.
the Mishnah Brura writes, Yesh Oizim Kesher Kimem Stuma Shnei Shnei Delosis Mishnei Stodov Raglish Tzedrosh Tzeh Vayim B'Sefer Tiferes Ay Shep Shuvim Avi Yiskim Ladin Deilo Oiz Kesher Tfilin Meka Mechuven Yoiser Ladina. It's better to do the dalid and not the square. Gam Lo Yasa Kesher Hotzel Lishomet On Avion Kesh Rabbi Halacha. Also B'Sefer El Yerabbe Ma'aseh Bech Shiro Achi Chlitz Tfilin Shuter HaKesher Shal Yad Be'ereis Lachzal Lanichan Likar Krisha B'Lit V'rocha. The mitzvah tefillin kol hayom with the time l'shitas Rashi the sfirale dayud or lamachal ma'ashem mesina lo yotza adayin yedei mitzvah. I don't know why he says that. He says that there was a person that there was the kesher shal yad was undone. The kesher shal yad was undone. So the El Yerabbe said that the person must re-put on tefillin because he was not yotzeh. So he says that the Mishnah Berurah says that's totally in the Machlokas Rashi and Tosis. Tosis also agrees he must have a kesher. He must have a kesher. It says Ubisharta. Without a kesher, you're not that yoytz of the mitzvah. There has to be a kesher, and we hold halacha that this is the kesher. We once had this whole shir. Say that Doidus tells a story that they when they made a shilas cholam and they went to heaven and they asked Moshe Rabbeinu if you have to redo the kesher every day. And Moshe Rabbeinu said yes. And Rabbeinu Tam is Yodet Kari. And he started screaming at Moshe Rabbeinu until Moshe Rabbeinu agreed with Rabbeinu Tam that the Rabbeinu Tam was right. And there was like a very fierce argument between Moshe Rabbeinu and Rabbeinu Tam. Now, some people say that this story can't be. It doesn't make sense. But the Seder Doidus brings this story. But the bottom line is, even if we possibly have been a time that you don't have to redo the kesher. Some say that some people like have a minute to tighten and untighten every day, but most people don't because we possibly have been a time. But what's the kesher? The kesher is that this is the kesher. I think everyone agrees you need to have a kesher. It's not a shiloh between. The question is if this kesher, the way we have it, is it a din in the kesher shel tefillin or is it in the din of the tefillin itself, mitzat shein shin dalad yud.
The kesher is only on tefillin shel yad. Shaftim otam al yadechem, ustotafot benenechem.
Okay, so
The kesher from
that was he was talking about shel yad here. The Alter Rebbe Shulchan Aruch says kesher shel tefillin lalach l'moshe mesina shel achik shekels eretus techem abarte yasa kesher kamin dalad shalosh shel yud shel yad la'ash l'moshe shakai imashin shel shalosh v'tev lizor la'ash l'mashem kesidrei shemad metchila yatz Hashem v'akach kesher shalosh kesher shel yad. Achakach kesed oises Hashem. V'kesher shalosh ain't so shenir kimin dalad ela mitzat chutz v'lo mitzat pnim. I these words I put in bold, not the Alter Rebbe, because I'll talk about it in a minute. It's remarkable the diuk and the lashon the Alter Rebbe. The Mishnah Brura says that it takel halacha askamas hapoiskim is that you shouldn't do square. You should do a dalet. So it sounds from Mishnah Brura that if you're doing a square, you should change. Look at lashon. The Alter Rebbe, it's not that way. Look again at this lashon. The Alter Rebbe says you should make a dalet. The Alter Rebbe Kilu doesn't say a preference. He's just saying whatever your minig is, that's what you should do. Do what your father told you to do. If your father by your bar mitzvah made it this way, that's the way you should do it for your whole life. Whereas from the Mishnah Berurah, it's mashma, no, because he says, and v'ayim b'sefer tiferes arya v'hiski mimo tshuva me'ava that the kesher shall daled mechuven yoiser ledina. Not saying it's possible the other way, like some people say, possible the other way. Not saying that you didn't put on tefillin a day in your life, but still, the Mishnah Berurah, there's those that say if you have the square, you didn't put on tefillin a day in your life. Mishnah Berurah says preferably to change it. Mashma, whatever your father did for you at your bar mitzvah, that's what you should do your whole life.
But I'm still saying this is the din. Yes, yeah, him also this.
No, I don't think so. I think when he says yesh, because this is what we are doing. Most of the people in this minig was not so much in Russia. It was in Poland, in Galicia, in Hungary. There were where the Mekoimis with the Alter Rebbe lived. I think the common minig was to make him in Dalit. The Alter Rebbe is saying you should know the yesh noyagam lasoisa bin yishinira come in Dalit and based on that. I don't see that he should have a preference. Okay. So summarize. The machloikis about the shin Dalit yud is the Dalit and the yud, is that part of halacha l'moshe or not? We seem to paskin the Shulchan Aruch, the Alter Rebbe paskins Mishnah Berurah that it's a part of halacha l'moshe. So it's not only a din in the kesher, it's also a din in the kedusha of the tfilin itself. Now this Dalit, so that we now that we established we need a Dalit, so we have two minhagim how to have this Dalit. And there's a concept of it. There's those that say that there's many reasons, and there's maybe a double Dalit or other things. Okay. The Rambam says that it's impossible. Every Talmid Chacham must know it, but I can't explain it. So you have to know. Talmid Chacham must know it. The Ma'aseh Choshev asked, why does he say that Talmid Chacham must know it? The Gemara says that Talmid Chacham must know how to make this kesher. The Gemara says that Talmid Chacham must know how to do a bris milah and how to do shchita and how to write ksav ashuri. How come that? And the Rambam doesn't? Why does the Rambam bring this? So the Ma'aseh Choshev says, because obviously if a person doesn't know milah shchita, it says Ezer Talmid Chacham sheshel nes tvar halachim b'chol mokum, and he knows it. So obviously he has to know how to be sheicher, but be moil, how to write ksav ashuri. But here he meant to say it's Yevshel, huh?
The physical skill.
I know that's you could argue with that. Okay, sure. I'm saying what the Ma'aseh Choshev says, but he says the point is that here that Rambam said Yevshel. He meant to say because a Talmid Chacham needs to know it. What he meant to say really is the end. I can't show him paper how to do it. I can't show him paper how to do it. So therefore, a Talmid Chacham needs to know it. So
Should also.
okay,
He didn't have
but
to be in those days.
the Beis Yosef, funny thing is the Beis Yosef does this like 7-8 lines in the Beis Yosef where he describes take two tzuas, and it's very hard to read it. But the Beis Yosef does describe how to do it. But I guess the Rambam, that wasn't his. The Rambam didn't have a brain that was wired up for giving you tutorials how to do it. The Rambam said Yev shalei dieh b'ksav. So
Maybe you want to make sure that only Talmid Chacham are taught.
no, but what I want to say is there's two ways of learning the Rambam. One way of that learning the Rambam is that there's a special way halacha l'moshe Messiah how to do it, and you must learn it from your Rebbe. But the other way of learning it is no, you can do it one of 10 ways. Any one of the 10 ways. I cannot write it on paper, and I don't have the technology to make a picture and to show you. I cannot send you a WhatsApp, and I have no status. Vazelachton. So you have to learn it from your father. That's what he's saying, but not the pshat that he's saying that there's one way to do it, and that's the only way. A little bit is mashma from the Alter Rebbe that way. Alter Rebbe says, "Hakesher shalosh ain't tzarich she'nida kimin dalet elo letzat chutz v'lo tzat pnim." If there's halacha l'moshe Messina is, the question is what's the halacha l'moshe Messina? Is the halacha l'moshe Messina that you have to have a dalet? How are you going to make it a dalet? It's 1 in 300 ways you can do it. As they write, there's 10 ways. There's 10 ways to make a dalet. Isn't that this famous saying? There's 10 ways to skin a dalet. So there's many ways. That's halacha l'moshe. Or you could say no. The halacha l'moshe Messina was how to make the dalet. Now it's mistaber that the halacha l'moshe Messina is the dalet, not how to make it. Why? Because how do we learn the dalet? Because ahead of HaKadosh Baruch Hu kesher shel tfilin. How are you supposed to? If Moshe Rabbeinu look again, I understand that tfilin the moli all maksimu mikam chak Yisrael. The Eibish's tefillin is not physical tefillin. It's not a cookie that you could take in your hand. But still, this is the spiritual thing was the Risa Sachoyre, whatever the pshat is, the Risa and Achoyre, the way the Rambam explains it. But Moshe Rabbeinu had a clarity where he saw the Eibishter. He saw it was a mitzvah imotzi, it was clear to him. And a chelik of that was that he saw the tfilin, and he saw the tfilin had a shin and a dalet. So, but when you look at someone's tfilin from the back, you don't know how he made the kesher shel dalet. That's why when they saw the Rebbe all these years, how could they figure out? Unless you pick it up from the inside, that's when you could start figuring it out. So if that's the pshat, that Moshe Rabbeinu knew the dalet because he saw kesher shel tfilin. So, but he didn't see how the Eibishter tied it up as a kesher. And that's why the Lashon the Alter Rebbe is Vakesher Shel Roish ain't Tzara Shenira Kemin Daled Ela Mitzat Chutz V'Loy Mitzat Pnim. If there was only one way to do it, you don't have to say that. Learn the right way of doing it, and you'll know how to do it. But the Alter Rebbe is saying, no, you could do it in one of the 10 ways. But the bottom result is that the Daled has to be only Mitzat Chutz. Mitzat Pnim Machne Shtois. Maybe I'm learning wrong pshat the Alter Rebbe, but that's the way it seems to me at this moment. That the halacha l'Moshe Messina, if we hold, which is it seems the halacha, we paskin that the daled is halacha l'Moshe Messina. So regardless if you hold that the daled is a double daled or a single daled, but the halacha l'Moshe Messina is a daled. So the question is the halacha l'Moshe Messina should be a daled, and you figure out how to make it, or halacha l'Moshe Messina is make a daled. So you're going to ask if the halacha Messina is just make a daled. Why did Rambam say you have to learn it from your Rebbe? Figure it out.
Even not doubt is hard to do.
Because it's not simple. 1 of 10 ways. There's not 6,000 ways. If you're going to start making like this, you're never going to end. So he says, go learn it from your Rebbe. But not the pshat that you can learn from this at Rambam. There's only one correct way to do it. But the raya is from the Etzem Inyan that you see that there is several minhagim. And the Rebbe never made a big deal out of it. If the Rebbe thought that the other kesher is not right, do you think that Rebbe would not say anything about it? I throughout the years, the Rebbe a lot of times made. I remember in the end of Mems, the Rebbe said he noticed in the Siddur that the Rebbe said was a mistake when you bring back the Sefer Torah. Was one Mem Zayin Ches. When was it? I remember that there was that the Siddur missed out because the Matfis saw one pasuk that he made a mistake, and the Rebbe was more that the Olam should. Then they fixed it in the Siddurim. The Rebbe would have said something. There's no shaila that the Rebbe didn't think that the one way or the other. The main thing is a dalet. Elamai, Mistam and Mesoid Hashem Liyereyav. First of all, his father-in-law made it. This Mishnah Geya. The Rebbe already did. Aim boikim and Mizbeach Lamaila. Whatever to the Rebbe, whatever his father-in-law did was Kodesh Kadoshim. It made no difference. But Kamuv Vagam Posher in the Rebbe's mind, if his father-in-law did it, it was Soid Hashem Liyereyav, and that there was Inyan in it. Okay. So now, if anyone to say mechuyev to change, definitely you're not mechuyev to change. Are you allowed to change? Definitely allowed to change. It's iskashrus. It's iskashrus. You're changing the kasher. It's iskashrus. So definitely, someone wants to change could change. The only thing I would say that since the Alter Rebbe says that tefillah you should make the shin and then the dalet and then the yud, perhaps you should undo both kshorim, because if you could. If you kanish, but it takes another 2 minutes. You're ready. You're someone that's already doing it, and he does it, a few times every day. And I can't stop at the end. It's not going to take him an hour. It'll take him another 60 seconds. And like tefillah, you're supposed to write the Eibishter's name, Kiksavi, first the Shin, then the Dalet, then Yud. So I want to be ma'ored if anyone's going to Rabbi Klein, that they should first undo both kshorim and then fix both kshorim, just to be able to do it the way it says. Aside in the Ramah, inside the Alter Rebbe, because Menachem on that halacha is that all three halacha l'Moshe Messina, and it's not Shem Shin Mem, it's really Shin Dalad Yud. So like a you should write the Shem Kiksavoi, first the Shin and then the Dalad and then the Yud.
So you saying that if somebody needs to change the kesher of the shofarish or the bichlal the tzuas of shofarish, they always have to open up the sharia. So, because
I hear what you're saying. That's what sounds from the Alter Rebbe.
Because it's tightening it off.
Then you're not being mavatul the dalet. It's saying just totally taking it apart. Could that change that it's is? There's a problem that it's is or something. Yeah, sounds that way. Again, it's chatchila. It's not ma'akir.
The barbecue has their own way of wrapping it. Not Ashkenazim, not Sfardim, not the United. Where did they get this from?
I don't know. There's a few minhagim within Chabad. I don't know if there's one minhag in Chabad.
Yeah, and so they all do it.
They're with the two sides. Come for yoina.
No, like they put the Ritzu on top of the bar.
No, on the side. Huh? Oh.
Talking about the Shoyad.
Oh, he's talking about the shalyat. Why? They make sure that the kesh is still touching the bias.
No, I think they put the sewer on top of the barta first,
Uh-huh.
and then they do something else. And forget about how
Uh-huh.
it's the wrong way. I never saw that in oil.
Be mine, and it's, I don't know.
We honestly say the Rebbe had.
Huh? Is there a minute 7 times? I'll be mine, I don't know. I didn't hear this.
We haven't said the Rebbe has sabuk without controlling him.
No, they just,
Although
there's nothing written about it.
somewhere. that
Okay,
they
yeah, yeah.
really wrote about.
Like a square again inside package.
Yeah.
Wait, the picture, you have to show the picture.
Yeah. Okay, let me do quickly. We like to do another. I just want to read two quickly things. So we did another two in Yonim. The Rambam writes, and this week's it's an unbelievable thing. Usually we don't pass the Rambam. Now you know the beauty of learning the Rambam. Also, he writes in the beginning of the Sefer Rishima Valochis, and there's a chiddush there from this week's parsha. The Rambam writes, "Amit sloita say samachay shaloi laabed beis hamikdash oibote knesiyas oibote medrashas v'chein ein mochkim Hashem es hamikdashim ve'abdim kisv kedush nema abed abdim lo yisas l'kein l'Hashem alekeichem." This week's parsha, but we don't find that all the Achronim talk about it. We don't find this portion the Rambam in the Yad HaChazaka. But you know, like when you do Rambam the first day, you do the list of all mitzvah and all mitzvah say. It's a very gishmak. I always feel like there's a lot of chidushim there, but this is taka from the chidushim that he learns from this week's parsha that just like it's isur shaloi labed beis hamikdash, there's a isur to be ma'abed anything in a beis haknesses and a beis hamedrash. So there's a whole discussion about Charanim. We spoke about it. We did for a few months about the beis haknesses and beis hamedrash, the property in a shul. If the kedusha is with the Raisa or the kedusha is with the Rabbonon, and with that itself, what's the machlokes that Ran Ramban and Mesachtes Megillah? If it's like kedusha hamikdash, the Ran says it's like kedusha hamikdash. The Ramban says it's muktzah mitzvos, it's a chefetz shel mitzvah. The Rambam here, it sounds like number one, it's like the Raisa. Number two, it sounds like the shul is a chefetz shel beis hamikdash. So I want to tell you a beautiful word from Rabbi Yoshe Soloveitchik, and you see how certain people think alike. He says that he's medayik that Rambam writes that what's the base of mikdash mitzvah say lasas ba'is Lashem muchen lis makrivim ba'akarbonos. And he had big chidush, which we know that Rebbe also had thought of the same chidush that the Ramban writes that the ikar inyan of the Mishkan is that Hashros Hashchina. By the way, this week's parsha is all about L'shakin Shmoi Sham, and the Targum says Ashri Shchinta, that the Eibusha says he's going to pick a place where he's going to be Mashri Shchina, and the whole parsha today is about that, about Kamta V'Olisa Alamokim. The whole parsha today is about the Eibusha saying he's going to pick a place to be Mashri Shchina. But the Ramban says that the Iker in the place of the Beis Hamikdash is the Autumn, because that's where there was a Shros Shchina. But the Ramban, when he writes what's the Iker in the Beis Hamikdash, in the first line in the Beis Hamikdash, mitzvah say lasas ba'is l'Shem muchen lis makrivim ba'akarbonos. The Rebbe says that's why also there's a machlokes in mitzvah say chof. The Rambam says that all the parts in the Beis Hamikdash is all part of one mitzvah. The Oren, the Shulchan, the Menorah, it's all part of one mitzvah. It's not counted as separate mitzvahs. The Ramban counts it as 5 separate mitzvahs. The Rebbe says it's a l'shitose. The Rambam was the whole thing of a Beis Hamikdash. A bias muchen lis makrivim ba'akarbonos has to be a bias that is muchen lis makrivim ba'akarbonos. It's not just the building the bias. It's the building the bias like a hefsher mitzvah. The main thing is it's muchen lis makrivim ba'akarbonos. It's an extra word, muchen. If they're building a house where this is where they could make the karbonos, and this is where Yidden are going to come. Therefore, all the details are all part of a. So Dr. Yoshe Soloveitchik, that's the same thing that Rambam writes, like Rabbi building a shul. The Rambam writes in tefillah The Rambam writes a Perek Yudalef Halacha Lamedalef Kol Mokem Sheyesh Ba'asorim Yisrael Tzorich La'ochen Lo'ik Bayish Yikonsel Tefillah B'chol Eis Tefillah Mokem Zanikra Beis HaKnesses. Wherever there's Yidden, you have to make a bias. It almost sounds like, just like the Rambam holds. What's the base? If the Rambam held that, just I think it's beautiful. If you held like the Ramban, that the place of the Beis Hamikdash, the mitzvah is that the place of Mokem of Asheros Hashchina, you bought a property in East 17 and you're telling me you're going to have Asheros Hashchina. Who are you? What are you talking about? But if you're going to say like the Rambam, that we're building a house. That's our part. The Eibishter is going to make Asheros Hashchina. That's his part. But our part is to build a house that we can meet the Eibishter. We're building a house so we can meet the Eibishter. I want to. What the Eibishter does is his business. He's Mashiach Shechina. I'm building a house so I can go meet the Eibishter. The Eibishter is his part. So it makes sense that the shul is the same thing, because that's what's taka. It's chutzlor. It's a taka. But I am doing my part. There's 10 Yidden. There's a mitzvah to get together, to take money from everyone, to buy a property, to get an architect, to file for plans. This is all a chelik of the mitzvah. The Eibishter Hashem Atoiv Yasa Shaloi, and He'll put into our heart Avos Hashem and Yiras Hashem and Asheros Hashchina. But we see from the Rambam that the Rambam and it comes out as an unbelievable thing that Shaloi la'abed Beis Hamikdash Arbatek Nesiyas, and the Rambam holds it's the same thing. So it gives you an unbelievable.
It's not just an issue of yes or no. There are different degrees of it.
Right. Still, you see that I'm saying his chiddush that the Rambam is l'shitosik, that is bias muchen lis makrivim ba'karbona. So therefore, it would stand to reason that also that the Beis HaKnesses is part of that mitzvah.
Before the mitzvah of the Patzim, that can't be.
No, that's what. No, it's not. Loy tasun. Next pasuk says Loy tasun came l'Hashem alekech. So the Pashup Shat is only talking about the Beis Hamikdash. The Rambam Lenatain, that it means every old Hamikdash miyad. So he's saying because according to the Rambam, the whole mitzvah building the Beis Hamikdash is a place where I come meet the Eibush. One more thing, the meaning.
So the people that go there, they're allowed to go here.
That once you build the Beis Hamikdash is the Baila. Every step we take, according to the Rambam, every step we take in order to build the mitzvah Shem, a Beis HaKnesses, we're doing a mitzvah Sasei, and it's an unbelievable thing. One more thing, this week is Chodesh Elul, so the Ayom Yom today says that Minik Chabad is the first day of Chodesh Elul to start saying David Hashem Oidi, and Lagabi Shofar, just poikim l'Islam, just to blow, as I to get used to blowing. What's the pshat? So the Magen Avraham is Simatavko Peyalav brings 2 minhagim. 1 minute to start blowing shofar on Aleph Chodesh Elul. A second minute to start blowing shofar Beis Chodesh Elul. So it seems that the Rebbe asked his father-in-law, "What's the minhag Chabad?" It seems that this is like a pshora. That he told him that the first day of Rish Chodesh we take out the shofar and we just blow, not in an organized way, because this way we're already blowing. By the way, minhag Chabad is to blow. There's 2 minhagim. Okay. They also brought in the Magen in this that the minhag Chabad is to blow not 4 koilas. A lot of shuls you go in, minhag is to blow only 4 koilas. Minhag Chabad is to blow 10 koilas. Because mavil the charbet nachala esa koilas and nefesh. So the Frierdiker Rebbe made a keim pshora the first day. But it's funny because he said that they should say L'David Hashem Oidi from the first day of Rosh Chodesh. What's the difference? But there is the ones that the Rebbe said that it's brought in this in a place that Yom Kippur at the end with Tkiya Gedola, that it's a very hard thing. Tkiya Gedola it's higher than all the koilas. Beruchnis, it's a very high thing. The Rebbe said that maybe Minhag Yisrael, the first day of Rosh Chodesh, to blow not in an organized way. So there's a kumtarois that's similar to the Tkiya Gedola at the end of Yom Kippur. So maybe that will explain why David Hashem Oidi. Okay, there's no 2 ways of saying David Hashem Oidi. You start saying David Hashem Oidi, but Tkiya Shofar, there's a certain mila in blowing shofar in a not organized way. It's like the Kia Gedolim. Rebbe shall helfen that blowing shofar. 1 second. Rebbe shall helfen blowing shofar. Rosh Hashanah should be Hayitaka shofar beil v'ami lo yachrodu, that every one of us should feel the Yidus Hashem, the Ani L'Doidi and the Doidi Li.
One last thing, since we just mentioned it, why did somebody say Minchas undersay to Myra?
I assume the reason because those of it like that is allowed to say by night. So that's why they go bump it up the minute.
All right,
I assume that's
okay. All right. That's why I was asking why it's like the Menachem. So I just said that maybe some
Everyone that's joining us, have a great week, have a great